The elementary school principal decided to open the trash bin, but he definitely didn't expect a huge black bear to jump out of it. I think the bear was the most frightened of all, running away in total panic. People on safari were filming a group of lions right from their car. At some point, the lions started moving more slowly and crouching down to the ground. It turned out they had spotted a giraffe that was so distracted by drinking water. The lions immediately began to surround her, and a chase began. But not a single lioness dared to attack. The giraffe turned out to be too big, so the predators quickly gave up the chase. I've never seen anything like this before. In the caves of New Zealand, there are glowworms that possess a very unusual trait. They produce a series of threads that act like bioluminescent fishing lines, catching unsuspecting insects. Their hunting tactic is similar to a spider's web. The bioluminescent light attracts prey, and small insects such as flies are drawn to it and fly right into the trap. As soon as the prey gets caught, the glowworm reels them in and sucks out all their juices. A predatory mantis has set up an ambush near the entrance to a beehive. For such an agile predator, catching a bee right in mid-flight was no trouble at all. The mantis eats it on the spot and will surely continue its hunt. A man was fishing from a kayak in New Jersey when he saw an eagle chase after a fish and fall into the water. Turning on the camera on his phone, he began filming the unusual scene. The eagle seemed to have caught something and couldn't take off with its catch. The bird of prey simply paddled toward the shore with its wings, and when it reached land, everything became clear. In the eagle's talons was a huge fish. I think the eagle's style of fishing only made the fishermen jealous. A woman near her house witnessed an unusual scene. A small wild deer was wandering around with some kind of plastic container on its head. She decided to help, and when she managed to get close, the frightened rescued deer ran away at full speed. Engineer Sam Davis took some very unusual photos. A live eel was sticking out of the neck of a flying heron. Predators quite often eat sharp-tailed eels alive, but thanks to their pointed tails, they have learned to escape from the predator's body. The eel simply cuts through the stomach wall and gets out. In this photo, you can see how the eel pierced the throat of a great blue heron. It looks gruesome. If the heron managed to survive, it definitely won't be hunting eels anymore. The man decided to set up a surveillance camera near a plate of food to capture who would come to have a treat. But the cunning fox didn't give permission to film, and instead of taking the food, it stole his camera. In a Bulgarian forest, motocross riders captured a very frightening encounter with a large bear. A man who veered off the trail barely managed to jump away and avoid being attacked by this furious predator. It's a good thing his friends started to hit the gas. It was precisely this noise that scared the bear, and it quickly ran away. The farmer was shocked when he saw what had happened to his pig. She was lying drunk near the fence. As it later turned out, the pig had climbed into a bucket of fermented corn and stuffed herself with this potent mix. I think she's having a great time. A man was filming a crocodile with a drone in an Australian park. Big mistake. He ignored the warning that filming reptiles could be dangerous. As soon as the man tried to film one crocodile up close, it jumped up and grabbed the low-flying drone. The device was found 2 weeks later by park staff. Although it had some superficial damage, the footage of that moment was able to be recovered. I don't know what this wildebeest was thinking, but it decided to nibble on some grass right next to a river teeming with crocodiles. A crocodile grabs it by the tail and drags it to the middle of the river. The toothy predator wasn't acting very aggressively, and when the antelope tried to break free, it simply let her go. The heron attacked the weasel, but the weasel wasn't about to give up so easily and started to defend itself, jumping at the predatory bird. Despite the powerful blows from the beak, the weasel managed to escape and hide in a burrow near the shore. A guy decided to mess with a seagull and started barking like a dog. Amazingly, the seagull started barking back. Here's another seagull that perfectly imitates a dog's bark. And this bird is truly unique. It spent its whole life with a dog and learned how to bark. The owner says they're inseparable friends. This is an Ethiopian wolf on the hunt, and to catch a nimble hamster, it needs to quietly and stealthily sneak up almost right next to its prey. The first attack was unsuccessful. The hamster reacted in time and hid in its burrow. The wolf decided to change tactics and started stomping on the burrow. On the other side, the careless hamster stuck its head out. A lightning-fast attack, and the prey was in its jaws. Next, a very brave dog, seeing a wolf attacking its herd, immediately rushed to defend them. The wolf ran away in a complete panic. A surveillance camera in Thailand captured a man who was doing something on the porch of his house when suddenly he was attacked by a huge cobra. The snake almost managed to bite the man, but he jumped aside just in time. This time he got lucky. Just look at this clever little dog. He climbs over his own fence to provoke the neighbor's dogs, and as soon as they run up to him, he immediately hides behind his fence, and a real fight through the mesh begins. It looks really funny. Here's another similar case, only this time in a Vietnamese house. A man forgot to close the door behind him, and a snake got into the house. When a woman with 2 children noticed it, real panic broke out, but the snake didn't have time to bite anyone. A black mamba decided to cross a river in South Africa. A crocodile spotted it and immediately launched an attack. The mamba managed to hide in the water and swim across the river, but on the other bank the crocodile caught up with it. Here, the snake has no chance of escape. And this turtle doesn't allow people to wear black shoes. As soon as it sees something black, it immediately pulls its head into its shell and attacks. I don't know what kind of trick this is, and maybe all turtles react this way, but most likely only this one does such things. And here's how a kingfisher hunts. It always sits on a branch just above the water's surface and, at the right moment, attacks and catches a fish. Then the prey is swallowed whole. This desert horned viper has an incredibly realistic lure at the tip of its tail. Birds simply can't tell it apart from an insect and fly in to catch it. It is at this very moment that the snake snatches its easy prey. This little bird was also tempted by the spider and got bitten right on the head, but by some miracle it managed to break free. We hope it will be able to survive after such a bite. And here's how a drunk squirrel behaves. It definitely stuffed itself with some old fermented apples. Here's another drunk squirrel trying to eat a nut, but it's swaying so much that it can't manage to do it. In India, a guy was coming home from work and saw a strange wriggling pile on the street. When he got closer, he was stunned. He took out his phone and filmed this unusual scene. An ordinary cat was feeding 8 puppies with her milk. A vendor from a nearby kiosk said that the puppy's mother was hit by a car, and the cat, who had recently had kittens, took the orphans under her care and her milk came back. Kind people made a cozy spot for this unusual family, and that's where they all spend the night together. A man out hunting noticed a deer whose antlers had gotten tangled in some kind of net near a fallen tree. Hunting such a helpless animal wasn't interesting, so they set about rescuing it. The hunters managed to immobilize and calm the deer by throwing an old jacket over its head. Very quickly, the deer was freed and immediately ran off into the forest. A man noticed a fluffy tail sticking out of the drainpipe of his house. After checking, he heard sounds, but the trapped animal couldn't get out on its own. The drainpipe had to be taken apart, and only then was the animal able to get out safely. And here this kind rescuer is wading into the water to save a duckling that got stuck in some branches tangled with fishing line. But nearby was the mother duck with her other ducklings. She didn't immediately understand the man's good intentions and began to attack him, protecting her offspring. But the man didn't give up, and after a few minutes, the duckling was saved. People on safari were filming the migration of wildebeests, who were all cheerfully running across the river together. They didn't have to wait long for a crocodile, and one of the antelopes quickly ended up in its deadly jaws. Ordinary people witnessed a brutal attack by a wolf on a deer. The predator knocked its prey to the ground, after which the deer was unable to get up again. And here is a successful lynx hunt for rabbits filmed right from a house window. The rabbits have only themselves to blame for not hiding in time. During a cruise in Karakuwa Bay in Japan, a black-tailed gull suddenly landed on this man's head. I think the bird just decided to take a break while its companions were flying nearby. It looks very funny. While cutting up a large log, the workers discovered something fluffy and alive inside. It's a good thing they stopped in time and didn't manage to cut it. Soon they pulled a giant anteater out of the hollow. The animal was on the brink of death, but managed to escape unharmed. A night surveillance camera was lucky enough to capture a puma attacking a deer. The predator quickly immobilized its prey and carried it off to eat. Meet the only species of poisonous worm in the world, the Glycera. Using its peculiar proboscis, it hunts by striking and poisoning unsuspecting prey with a paralyzing toxin. After being treated with the venom, the victim turns into something like canned soup. All that's left is to drink it. For humans, a Glycera bite is not dangerous, but it can cause quite a bit of pain. Next is the touching rescue of a lizard that got stuck in the latch of a metal door. Using a special lubricant, the reptile was successfully extracted. A raccoon came onto the porch to feast on leftover cat food, but this time luck was not on its side. The raccoon itself became the meal. The puma's hunt was very successful. On a busy highway at night, a man noticed a small kitten. The little one was truly on the brink of death, and the man, risking his own life as well, saved the kitten.